Hey guys, I thought I'd demonstrate some Project Lounge work, and this was probably one of the easiest ways to do it. So I've been looking into server sent events. It's kind of like PubSub, kind of like WebSockets. Don't really know the major differences between them, to be honest. Apart from, I think server sent events is kind of like just a native thing. I don't know if WebSockets are or aren't. But it's not polling in either case. Um, so I covered this stream on Twitch earlier today, and I just thought I'd go over like some of the real basics of what I've done. So this is what it looks like. Not very sexy, I know, but what we're seeing on this page is a number updating automatically. And what's actually happening is that this number is being generated on the server and fed forward to the front end, a really simple React app in this case. So what it looks like is I've got two projects. I've got my server and I've got my front end, and it's a basic React app, like I say. It just uses Parcel Bundler to handle all the dependencies. Kind of not that relevant, I guess, for this, but I've called this a price component. I split it out to a container and a component. The component just handles like the rendering side of things. The container is responsible for setting state and such. In this case, the container, as it registers or as it mounts, it goes off and it initializes an event source. So this is the thing that's built into the browsers. I don't think there's any support for IE or Edge, but for everything else, all the browsers have it. And then it's just going off and it's talking back. This address is my local machine, just tunnel through ngrok. But yeah, basically it just registers a number of event handlers, as we see back here. So on here I've got a price change that it's subscribing to, and then every time a price change is executed or dispatched from the server, it comes through and calls the onPriceChange method here, and the only purpose of that is to set the state on this component, which is kind of fed forward through to here. That's what we see on the screen. Server set to price, and the price is blah. That is pretty much all of the front end. Most of the magic happens in just these lines. Create a new event source instance and then just add some event listeners to it. That's all you have to do. So the back end, pretty similar. I've got dependency management going on by Parcel Bundler. This registers a web server using Fastify. There's a couple of plugins here. There's Fastify SSE, which I'm using to generate these server events. And all a server sent event is probably best illustrated from the documentation. We have let's make it a little bit bigger. We have to send the correct header type, which is text event stream. And then we can send a message in one of two ways. But either way, the message is terminated with two new lines. The two ways are basically you can send data just on its own, nothing else, or the other way is you can send data that is namespaced. That does have effect on the front end. So the front end, I demonstrated that we have an add event listener. I probably skipped over that. So I have on the event source, you can have an add event listener, but you must namespace if you want to use this. Otherwise, you can just listen to. There's another way of doing that basically. Again, in the documentation, it tells you to use onMessage instead. But yeah, so the data stream that comes through will look something like this. If you use a namespacing, which is in the case of this demonstration, data will kind of come through like this. And if you don't use namespacing, then it just literally comes through like this. I think that is pretty much everything covered. So in this case, I'm in my sort of API, if you like. I'm just every 2 seconds, I'm just generating a random price or a random number. It's not even a price in this case, but in the back end, this is what it looks like. I can see all the logs going on, just generating random numbers, and then in the front end, we're seeing it update the interface. So what kind of things would we use this for? So in the B2B German kind of work we're doing at the moment, we're building a price pipeline UI, and we thought one of the cool things that might happen is that, you know, as our staff are kind of using it to, you know, alter prices on allocations and stuff, it'd be nice if that price kind of gives you some indication if it's old, you know, to stop price mismatches going on as you're administrating the different products. Another thing might be for a similar sort of thing where there's an admin interface. We could do like a Google Docs sort of thing where there's the different people who are editing that page at the moment. They might appear at the top, and when they disconnect, you know, then their face drops off, and you can kind of determine if it's just you working on this page or if it's someone else as well. And, you know, it might help you with conflict resolution, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's it. So I'll give you a heads up on today's Project Lounge. Thanks very much.